Still no opener on it.
That is the opener. That is literally the opener. There isn't one.
I'm annoyed though because Deck told me he'd done one.
Wasn't there an opener last week though?
No.
There was intro.
Was it?
Dialogue.
Oh, right.
Because I did watch even though I wasn't here.
Oh, right. Anyway, welcome to XG Files. Ronaldo, me. And we're going to talk a little bit today. I don't even know if there's much of a debate to be had here, but Antony versus Sancho.
It's not even necessarily just a Antony versus Sancho. It's a look at the fact that United do, with everyone fit, United actually have quite a few attacking options. All of a sudden. And obviously, Rashford's absolutely strangleholded. Don't know if that's a word or not. The left wing spot. Pretty much. There's a debate to have up front as well with Weghorst and Martial. Mm-hmm. But right wing is one where you've got Sancho coming back and you're wondering whether he's going to be energised or he's going to be infused. And we know he's got the qualities, but it's about whether he'll show it. And then we've also got Antony, who's occasionally flattered to deceive a little bit. So I think if Sancho does come back and put in a few decent performances and cameos, there's going to be a serious competitive selection thing there in the right wing area.
I love competition. I don't think it's a negative thing. Unfortunately, though, there does have to be a winner. You can, like we saw with the goalkeeping situation with Dean Henderson and David De Gea, maybe it's a bit more serious in that sense because you're not really going to play your keeper at left back to give him some minutes. Like they played in that position and that's that. Whereas we've already seen Sancho briefly used as a number 10. You can often swap a winger to the other side to get him minutes or in an emergency. So it's a little bit more open having a winger versus winger sort of dilemma than it is having a keeper versus keeper dilemma. But there has to be a winner. There has to be a hierarchy. There has to be players who know I'm fit, I start. Unless the gaffer tells me I'm being rested or I'm out of form, I'm the man. And I think every team needs 7 or 8 of those to be a really good team. And then you can have 6 or 7 that sort of make up the numbers sounds offensive and derogatory, but make up the numbers in terms of very trusted first team players that can come in, maybe fulfill a couple of roles. Sancho versus Antony. I saw a couple of comments where someone was saying Antony's done more in a United shirt than Sancho has in the entire time he's been here, and I not even respectfully disagree. I just flat out disagree. Flat out disagree. And I think Sancho's shown incredible promise, has had real ups and downs in his form while he's been here. It's mostly been ordinary. I don't think it's been terrible. I think that's people just getting a bit giddy.
People have compared it to the whole Bundesliga tax thing, and I actually saw an interesting stat earlier in the week on the Bundesliga that the Premier League actually averages a lot more shots per game than the Bundesliga.
The rangier.
But the Bundesliga averages more goals. So take that how you want it. I don't know if that means you get clearer opportunities in the Bundesliga, the forwards are better in the Bundesliga, or whether the defenders are just awful. I'm not sure how that correlates, but the Premier League actually has more shots per game.
The Bundesliga and the Premier League are two. They're quite close to each other in terms of the intensity of the leagues as well. They're very sort of end-to-end, both of them.
Yes. That's why I used to come up. I know this is a little bit off topic, but I used to say I think Bundesliga is probably a better place, which sounds a bit contradicting, to shop for defenders.
Good defenders.
It looks like the defending is terrible over there because it's so open and it's so expansive and there's so many goals. But I kind of think that's down to philosophies. So I think that I think more teams over there just play more stretch and there's not really much low blocking. There's a lot more 1v1s and isolating, so that.
I totally agree on the philosophies of it. I'm still not necessarily convinced that it's a definite better shopping place across the board. I think you still got to take it individually. Yeah. But I agree that you do see a lot more halfway line defending. Yeah. And if you're looking to defend on a halfway line, United made this mistake with Maguire. We bought him being in a team that was playing on the back foot. We put him into a team that was playing on the back foot. Yeah. That works. That works quite well. Then the team changed, or the philosophy of the team changed, wanted to hold the ball a little bit more, wanted to hold it a little bit higher up the pitch. Maguire didn't turn into a bad player. Maguire became the wrong player in a new system. That's it. It's a bit
the wrong player in a more progressive forward-thinking system. So basically, he is a lower of the Premier League table. I'm defending my area type of defender.
If he goes to West Ham, he get player of the month.
Probably, but when I was talking about the Bundesliga, I'm talking about like how Sancho's stats when he was there was basically almost bordering. I think he only had. I think
he was only behind Messi. I think.
Only behind Messi in goal contributions.
He's not bad.
And he's not bad. Do you know what I mean? So, in terms of Sancho and Antony and who's done more in the United shirt, obviously Sancho's been here a lot longer. I think Antony's only played 22 games. We do have some stats comparing them as well. And in terms of actual goal involvements per 90, they're actually very, very similar for their tenure at United. Obviously, Jadon Sancho's got 8 goals, 4 assists in 54 games. He's averaging a goal involvement every 285 minutes. So he's basically averaging a goal involvement every 3 games. Whereas you've got Antony, who only has 6 goal involvements in 22 games, which is an average of a goal involvement every 262 minutes, which is similar every 3 games. So they're basically doing the same thing.
One sec. Josh, stop doing that with your legs. That's so annoying. Chris, can you read this comment as well? You might like this one. Manveru says, applying Hitchcock drama theory to YouTube intros. Can you find the rest of that comment for us, please, and let us know what he's on about there? Do you think there is a direct competition with Sancho and Antony, or do you think that seeing Sancho... I mean, we've also seen Pellistri, we've also seen Bruno, even Marcus Rashford temporarily, and actually Garnacho, although I don't think that necessarily worked, on the right-hand side. Do you think there's more to it than it's those two head-to-head?
I think there's a lot more to it. I think, obviously, you got Pellistri, who's shown bright spots and a couple of cameos that he's done. I know he's a starter for Uruguay. I'm not sure if that's saying much. So he does provide a different dynamic. Elanga seems like the jury's out on him. You've also got a Garnacho playing out there. He looks like the way he plays, the way he dribbles, the way he moves, seems he's much more suited to playing on the left. But maybe if he can be versatile on there, it'd be an option as well. We've seen Ten Hag play Bruno on the right wing quite a lot as well. Sabitzer, who's coming in, can do a job out there. Yeah. There's quite a few options.
Where the hell did we just suddenly appear with this depth? Out of nothing.
Maybe it was there and we just didn't realise it. But maybe the depth was filled out with so much. Like, it's all right having depth, but sometimes there's a lot of shit in that depth. Do you know what I mean? And because you've added a couple more quality players, it seems like the level in terms of the average has gone up in terms of the squad. And I think that's what keeps it, and that's what's making it seem like we're in a bit of a strong position. And it's what we need, because we are still got a lot of games left before May. We're still in every competition. We've seen
Which I think is a trophy, the way Scouse fans go on about
exactly.
it. We played in every game.
We played in every game.
Injuries
definitely derail seasons, as we've seen with the Ericsson one. So this depth is something that we can't scoff at. Competition is good. And personally, who I choose between the two remains to be seen, because they are very even. There's also another interesting stat that I got on Sancho, and that's that he's played 54 games for United and he's never been booked. When I looked on transfer market, he didn't have 1 yellow in 54 games. And I don't know whether that's a good thing.
I don't think it's a good thing. Sometimes you've got to launch someone sometimes, haven't you?
Yeah. So Sancho, 54 matches, not 1 booking. What does that say about his play style? His tenacity? I think Antony's already got 3 yellows. Probably could have had more.
I love Needle.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
I love it when someone just goes, no, I'm not having that. I'm going to put you on your ass. I love it. I genuinely love it. And I think you miss that. We talk about character a lot, but that is character still. Just someone who goes, no, you're not doing that to my team, and I'm going to put you on your ass.
Every team needs a couple of them.
Yeah. I mean, Jordan Henderson, I don't know who he thinks he is half the time, standing there like he's 10 men, but at least he's doing, that role, at least in his head. Going out there and trying to, I don't know, just try and intimidate a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sure he gets laughed at more than he gets taken serious, but I appreciate the effort.
It's like me and my brother was laughing watching Antony play last game, because He seems to make everything into a little bit of needle. I think he plays on the edge a lot. I don't think it's long before he gets sent off. But I don't know if that's just the whole South American thing a little bit. I think they've all got it built in pretty much, especially Brazilians.
I mean, Casemiro and Casemiro and Martinez. How long in a game do you reckon you'd get away with leaving one in on either of them before you get spun?
Yeah, I don't know, because Casemiro's another one that launches himself into challenges, and obviously he's got the 5 bookings, and it did hurt us in terms of the Arsenal game. But we also spoke before that game saying that although we don't want Casemiro to get booked, so much of that kind of aggression, that needle and that tenaciousness, that's his game. When you've basically got like a Rottweiler playing for him, and you want him to go out and then be on a little bit of a leash, it's not the same, is it?
You can't get mad when he bites someone.
Do you know what I mean? It's I'd rather him not have played rather than putting him out there saying don't tackle.
But the thing is, though, when you look at across City, Crystal Palace and Arsenal, if I'd have said to you, look, you can probably pick up like 5 points here, you'd have gone, damn, or 6 points even. You'd have gone, so we're beating City or Arsenal and beat Crystal Palace. Yeah, I'm in. So I think we had to go for the win against Palace, which we obviously didn't end up getting. Because if we'd have come through that, even losing to Arsenal, you've done way better than expected, I think, there.
Yeah.
You could have been looking at 4 or 5 points as you sort of like for par.
Yeah, I think it's the Palace one that was the most disappointing. If you won that, got 6 points within 3 games.
Sleeping Bear says Bobby Charlton never got booked. Is that because his career preceded the yellow and red card system? Because when did that come in? Didn't that come in like 1971, 72, something like that?
So Sleeping Bears come in and said Bobby Charlton's never got booked because you couldn't get booked.
Right. I mean, it's a fact. But there's context to the fact, isn't there, potentially? Have you seen Dwight York has been linked with an Aberdeen job? Done a mega job, silverware-laden job in the A-League in Australia.
I had no idea he was even coaching.
Didn't you?
I thought he was still in all the edge sipping bars. Do you know what I mean? Thought that's what he was up to these days. Dwight York, Aberdeen.
Imagine him following in Fergie's footsteps.
I was going to say, Fergie, Heritage.
So he's made that call, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's definitely phoned up Sir Alex and gone.
Sir Alex is definitely still got a little bit of sway there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Dwight York, though. Jesus.
What if he's dope?
He could be. He was in the A-League, so he's all right being a little bit closer to his... No, I'm not going to say it. Anyway,
Wow. I'm just going to see what his record is.
Moving on.
Get some questions in for us. Who has a higher potential, Antony or Sancho? That's a great question.
Because they are exactly pretty much the same age. That is another thing that someone's mentioned earlier. We've got Antony, Sancho. It's all the options that we're mentioning are under 25. They're young players. There was a time a couple of seasons ago where the squad seemed to look a little bit old. It seemed like it was aging, not enough young players. We have brought a lot more young players in. You've even seen that we've been linked to Booth from Utrecht, a youngster. So it looks like that's what we're trying to do, freshen up and make the team a little bit younger.
Sleeping Bear there says Man United 5, Palace 0. We're going to smack someone. That'd be nice. We haven't really done that, have we?
We haven't smacked anyone, have we? Bring on Leeds then.
And what was that other one? First name, last name says if Stevie, scroll up a little bit for me, please. First name, last name there says if Stevie G can do it in the SPL, so can Dwight York. Back down again, let's have a look at that super chat. On that though, he was at Rangers, and it's basically a Rangers and Celtic shared league. Do you know the last manager to win the SPL that wasn't manager of Rangers and Celtic? Do you know who that was?
Fergie.
Correct. Nearly 40 years ago. If that doesn't tell you how much of a duopoly that league is, if Dwight York goes there and even just splits them, just comes second, behind one in front of another,
that is a duopoly.
That's sensational tech.
People try and say that about...
So look at that super chat, please.
Because every other league's... Duopolies were like what people said about La Liga for a while. Then that's changed. It's been diversified a little bit in terms of... Even in France...
Can I have a look at the super chat, please? Third time of asking. Can you leave it on the screen until I've read it? Jesus, Teddy fucking Christ. Righty, CG says, I want to do my finance dissertation on football/MU. Do you have any ideas? What do you reckon?
Fuck, you know. You spent £9 asking us that.
There's 2 super chats there, though, isn't there? Or is it just an echo? It's the same thing. Okay.
On football and MU, have you got any ideas? Actually, I reckon you should do your dissertation on the amortization thing in football. Like how transfer fees are spread out over a course of a few years and then kind of refer to what's going on now with Chelsea.
Or what about why
and
football
FFP.
Inflation has outstripped regular inflation?
Or do a dissertation on if it's a problem, how much richer the Premier League is becoming compared to other European leagues.
What's funny is, I don't know if I mentioned this on air or not, but I think I might have mentioned it to you guys upstairs. In the book Barca, Simon Cooper, I think it is, that's written it, is talking to somebody at Barca who is complaining about how much money the Premier League make in TV revenue.
Yeah.
Now, last check, Barcelona and Madrid take somewhere in the region of 80% of all La Liga TV rights. Now, some people might say, well, that's fair because that's the only people are tuning in for. Okay, but the Premier League decided to do it on a fairness thing. And then there's a percentage of it gets divvied up about where you finish and then how frequently you're on TV. Now, that's fair. That is about as fair as it can be. You finish higher, you're on more often, you get paid more than the teams that finish lower and aren't on as often. Who's arguing with that?
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why the Premier League has got the sort of pulling power where you're seeing the likes of Bournemouth outbidding AC Milan for players.
Yeah.
Wild. But the duopoly in Spain is basically like, at last time I saw it, which is probably outdated now, Real Madrid and Barcelona were carving up like 330 million each, and then the rest of the league got somewhere in the region of like 30, 40 mil.
Okay.
Absolutely kicking the ass out of it. Barcelona also had an annual revenue that was a ball hair shy of a billion. Don't go complaining about how much money the Premier League makes when you're bringing in $1 billion and smashing it up a wall.
Can we get the quote? Because I did see a quote from I don't know if he's the president of the league or whatever, mentioning the kind of the concern that he's seen with the spending in the Premier League compared to the rest of the leagues, and then people were replying saying the similar things to you, as in saying
Coutinho, Dembele.
as basically saying it's like that because the way that it's framed is just all towards Real Madrid and Barcelona, where it's a lot more spread out in English football.
Yeah,
but
equitable.
It's more equitable, but I don't know. Apparently, the spending in January in the Premier League was like more than the rest of Europe.
Wait. If you take Chelsea out, are we under Andorra?
We can't just take Chelsea out, though. That's not how it works. They're in the Premier League. And they've also said, Chelsea, that this is just the beginning.
That's wild.
So I'm trying.
Statements like that make me back an
so
oil baron buying us.
So Bowley is bad news for Chelsea, mate.
It's bad news for football.
Yeah. Because that is not, the longevity on that is little to none.
Ultra 67 says Sancho, I think, looks a little overweight. Remember that photo in the red shirt? Looked a little bit like Neville Southall. I think he did before he went. I think he looks trim now. Cheekbones and shit.
I don't think he's ever been trim, though. Some people have a natural body type. I don't think he's ever been cut and trim. I don't think he's ever going to be that guy.
Wow, who has the most potential? The poll says 78% Sancho, 21% Antony.
Is that the whole new shiny toy thing? Where it's like, because Sancho's not being here and he's come back and he's new and Antony's been playing, and do you know what I mean?
Scott Freeman says Martin Dubravka will get a cup winners medal if United win, despite being a Newcastle player. I think you framed that wrong. I think you meant to say you meant to say Martin Dubravka is getting a cup winners medal regardless. Surely.
I think. Do you know what the theory is? The theory is, now that he's been sent back, is when he played that EFL Cup game against Burnley, that he was. People are concerned that he's going to go back to Newcastle and tell them all our weaknesses. His performance against Burnley in the EFL Cup suggested he was trying to knock us out anyway. Do you remember? That is what people are theorising.
He went with a quickness after it, didn't he?
Yeah, people are theorising that he was trying to lose that game. Do you know what I mean?
Miraj says maybe Ten Hag prefers a left-footed right winger similar to left-side centre-back with Leisha and Shaw. That's why Sancho moved to the 10, and Ahmad might be Antony's competition next year. Ahmad's been playing down the middle, though.
You never know. Because Sancho could be playing in the middle anyway. But obviously, on what we was talking about, there's the quote that he said by Tebas. Is that
all right, so he says the British market, English, thank you, is a doped market. You can see it clearly in the winter market where Chelsea have almost made half of the signings in the Premier League. That doesn't mean that... It means Chelsea are. Because United spend, fuck all. Following the history of the last few seasons, we have done some work at La Liga because the Premier League is a competition that loses billions of pounds in the last few years. This is financed by contributions from the patrons, in this case, American investors who finance at a loss. Hey Siri, pull up Barcelona's debts for me.
I can't believe that.
What are you on? Like...
Do you know why he said this? Because there's a lot of talk, because it was a idea that the Super League could come back.
They're the ones pushing for it.
They are pushing for it.
They're at the front, making logos and shit.
Obviously, a lot of mad shit's happening in football in a very quick time, and I don't reckon it's too long, probably the next couple of months, where the Super League shit kicks off again.
As soon as everyone's knocked out of the Champions League.
Yeah, as soon as everyone's knocked out of the Champions League. Super League, we're back.
Akash there says, a bit unrelated, but any scope/promising sign that Rooney could manage United in the future. If you go off his record alone, no. But if you go off what appears to be very, very good man management, maybe. I think he's got to prove himself. Like I wanted to see him prove himself winning the Championship because that shows you can dominate a league. Because I think often you'll see someone come up and then, are they the right person to... Basically, like what you get is when you go through promotions, you get to be the big boy bully at the top of one league, and then you've got to totally switch up your style. And quite often, I really enjoy watching a team come up from the Championship and play the same way that got them promoted because it's always front foot and it's often quite successful. Yeah. Then they'll get a spanking. They'll get a 4 or a 5-0. It's usually City.
Yeah.
And then they'll shit it and start 10 metres further back, 10 metres further back. Let's go, instead of 2 strikers, we'll go 1. And we're going to put a 6 in. And they start playing defensive, shitting it, they're going to get relegated. And then I think that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I think they end up having worse and worse results because the squad that they made was a squad that was made to play football on the front foot and win, X number of games a season.
What about Swansea came up, for an example of a team that came up and then played some of the best football in the league straight away, and they were quite successful quite a while doing that. Brighton have done the same thing. I
think if you stick to your principles and ride out those obvious sticky
it could
times,
go tits up, but sometimes it can work for you as it has for a few teams.
Yeah, because you got to think like let's say you've been a manager that just missed out on promotion in the Championship, and then you got it. You've had nearly 100 games where you've tried to play front foot football, and then 10 games in, you've played front foot football.
Someone said it. Leeds did it as well. Someone said up there who uses Siri. I've never used Siri before. That's an interesting fact.
I use Alexa.
I just don't randomly talk to my phone. I've never used Siri.
Apparently, Paul Ince is talking shit about United again. Who gives a shit?
Siri. Do you think phones listen to you though?
100%.
No, because they do. Because I said this to Chris the other day. I was having a conversation on Snapchat with the missus, just mentioned Pretty Little Thing. About an hour later, I went onto Instagram, and the first sponsored post on Instagram was Pretty Little Thing. And I've never liked, looked at, or followed anything to do with that type of clothing. And there was another one where I was on a phone call. It was a Dubai conversation, speaking about the biggest hotel in Dubai called Al Jarab or something like that. Went onto YouTube today. On the recommended page was, I stayed at Al Jarab, whatever.
It's creepy, isn't it?
It is very creepy.
It's creepy because I was talking about a company that, let's say, provides stadium solutions, and I went onto my Instagram and that was the first story, and I was like, wait, what?
Yes, I think it is. It's not coincident. There's something really, really weird in it. I don't know if they're listening. They see what you type on a
Chinese spy balloon hovering over Montana at the moment.
Has it been shot down yet?
No, because they're worried about shooting it down. Anyway, more on that when we come back after this little message about your balls. 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year from our friends over at Manscaped. The ball has officially dropped, but that doesn't mean you have to drop the ball on your balls in 2023. Whether you had a New Year kiss or not, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming have got you covered for your much-needed resolution of bringing sexy back. Join the 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com, use the code XG20 for 20% off and free shipping. Let's have a toast for a new year, new you, and a new you with no pubes. As always, they've got the Performance Package 4.0, and in there you'll find the Signature Lawnmower 4.0. The advanced skin-safe technology reduces cuts and nicks on your delicate parts. It's got an LED spotlight, so you can even shave your bush in the dark. And a grooming routine isn't complete without applying the Crop Preservant Crop Reviver before showing off your 2023 self. And to complete the set, Manscaped are throwing the Shed Travel Bag and Anti-Chafing Boxer Briefs as a free gift to keep all your goodies stored comfortably. If you really want to make 2023 a year to remember, make sure to try out Manscaped's wet goods as well. This includes their ultra premium body wash, 2-in-1 shampoo and body deodorant. These products are the absolute perfect follow-up for your New Year's gym resolution. Chase the new balls in 2023. Remember, 20% off and free shipping, code XG20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off, free shipping at manscaped.com with the code XG20. Right, we're back. So yeah, there's a Chinese spy balloon that's just kicking off over America.
How did he definitively know it's a Chinese spy balloon?
No idea.
If they've not got close enough, they're scared to shoot it down, why are they just assuming it's a Chinese spy balloon?
They might have tracked it coming over from China.
Can I see what it looks like? Does it actually look like... Is it an actual balloon? Because I don't think they can stay in the air that long. And usually, I might be wrong, when you're spying on stuff, you're meant to be discreet, I swear.
Generally.
You're meant to be quite, like, stealthy. And
so,
not
false
just...
flag then,
and
yeah?
not just fly in a huge white balloon in the sky.
In broad daylight.
That's not really good spy work.
Yeah. It's a B- on a spy.
Someone said... People are saying it said made in China on it.
Yeah, but that don't mean anything. Everything's made in China, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I think there's if you want to go down a serious rabbit hole and think about who's listening and why they're listening, GCHQ in England are listening to every single conversation and that sort of stuff, which is such a... And think about how good... sort of auto-transcribe YouTube videos are, like getting probably in the region of 90-95% of what you actually said. Think about, all of those phone calls, and anytime someone says something hot, that's just getting banked and probably flagged up, and there's probably tons of people. It's in Cheltenham, GCHQ, just scrolling through. How many times has this guy, threatened to do something hot, all right, this guy looks like a what's it, pass it over to MI5. Yeah, go and look at this guy.
This is...
She walked into a shop and was like, can I have 12 bottles of booze? Please?
So have you ever been on Google and then you wanted to search something and then thought, that search can be misconstrued?
Nope.
I don't want to be on a list.
I'm not doing anything illegal, so... I do look at guns, though.
Okay.
But here's the thing. People don't have a pot of glue about the UK firearms laws, and I do. So I'm fully comfortable searching for guns, gun accessories, that sort of stuff. One of the videos that I really want to do on IRL channel, I would like... So there's a Accuracy International. Accuracy International story is amazing, right? So Accuracy International, I think in the 70s maybe, the UK government was like, we'd like a new sniper rifle and we're going to have a competition to see who can design the sniper rifle. So 3 guys in a shed made a company just called it Accuracy International, which is a great name for a sniper rifle. Made what's now known as the L96 sniper rifle. And was like, there you go. What do you think of that? And it was like, this is fucking amazing. They were like, right, we need to come and visit your workshop. Just make sure you're not 3 guys in a shed. Which they was at the time. So they hired a workshop, scattered gun parts all over the place, and was like, yeah, we hand make guns and this, that, and the other. They awarded them a contract for fucking decades to make, and it's a massive company now. But I would love to explore that story on Howson IRL channel, because you can legally own what is the British Army's sniper rifle and just shoot it as long as you've got a range with enough range on it. In the UK, I couldn't. They're a couple of grand. They're not cheap, but I can legally own one. You can even own. I don't use the Call of Duty heads in there. So the Barrett 50 cal sniper rifle, legal to own in the UK. Fully legal. Fully fucking spendy. And the rounds are going to cost you a pretty penny.
I won't be buying one, but Matthew Pitchy is just reminding me something. Love that Juve have been stung worse by Pogba than we were. Dude hasn't played a single minute. Have you seen the story that apparently Juventus want to get rid of him? Almost borderline terminate his contract.
Isn't that mental? He's not played, has he, since he's gone?
And as you probably aren't surprised by, there's still a few people that wouldn't mind to see him back.
Of course.
On a free.
The opinions on Twitter no longer surprise me. In any direction. You could literally say, this is a sheep. And a photograph of a sheep.
There'll be only one reason.
People disagree.
There'll only be one reason why I'd want Antony.
So you're saying you hate cows? Prick. No, I said it's a sheep. What about snakes? It's Twitter, innit? Where can you buy one? Search fucking Guns for Sale UK. Literally, there's whole websites like Auto Trader, Gun Trader, for starters. You can, what are you holding your hands up for? It's legal. Now, you have to have a firearms license. You have to be interviewed by the police. And you have to have a good reason for owning one. Do you know what a good reason for owning a firearm is? I'm a member of a gun club and I shoot targets. That's it. I will educate people on correct and safe firearm usage. Because I think they're an amazing tool. I don't necessarily think everyone should have access to them. Certainly not like the Second Amendment cranks in America. Like, I need 7,000 guns, which is, I think, is entirely legal, and tanks and fucking all sorts of stuff. However, I think if you're a responsible adult and you just shoot in one because you want one, but yeah. But yeah, you can have 50 cal sniper rifles.
Don't seem worth the money.
Absolutely fucking bonkers. That's mad. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Very generally, you're not allowed pistols. And you're not allowed magazines over 10 rounds, I don't think. Or weapons that are capable of firing on semi or fully automatic. So you can have bolt-fed stuff.
But in America, it's free-for-all.
Technically, no, they're not necessarily allowed fully automatic weapons, I believe. But they have modifications.
You got it on your arm. You got it on your arm as well.
American flag on the arm. Someone sent me this. They sent me a little stash pack from the University of Oklahoma. It's Jordan, which I do like. I like the Jordan brand stuff. They sent me an American football shirt from their college football team, a basketball shirt, which is awesome, and then like a training T-shirt and this.
Can you? I get sent stuff. Okay, no. Nerf gun, people are saying. BB gun. There's a lot of comments here, and some of them I definitely don't want to. Like, someone says you can shoot antique pistols at clubs. You can do a lot of gun clubs. No, I'm just going to move on. Yeah. Because I heard a lot of people say no, take Pogba back on 25k a week.
I don't think I'd take him back. Why would you take him back? Who does he play in front of?
The only reason I'd take Pogba back would be to irritate Graham Souness.
I so hoped I ran into him when we was in Qatar, you know.
Do you know what I mean? Was he there?
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely was, wasn't he? Okay, no. Nah, but other than that, I don't know. I feel like he just upsets the apple cart, innit? So I think the way you keep it is the way it is now. I think he's probably past it. He's had a lot of problems. He's not played a single minute.
Go play with Ronnie.
I think he should go play in the MLS.
He did bits in the MLS.
With Ronaldo, or go play for like Nottingham Forest or the other United. Your favourite Newcastle.
Oh yeah, do you know what? In the build up to the final, we're going to get into that. So Newcastle fans, that was signing off tweets like it was emails, by the way. That's weird. We're kicking off saying how arrogant it is of United fans to call themselves United. And then who did we play the other night? Steve Cooper goes, oh, congratulations to United and Newcastle for both reaching a final. Now, the whole thing is like, do you know what? United are United. The only other team I will accept being called only United, and it depends on your location, is Sheffield United. The reason for that? Because all the other Uniteds, Newcastle, Leeds, all of them, can't think of any more off the top of my head, none relevant anyway, all the other Uniteds are from shit single team towns. You're not a big club. Your city doesn't even have 2 football teams.
Who? What?
Leeds. Who's Leeds City? Or Albion? Or Leeds Villa? You got Leeds in Leeds. That's why they're called Leeds. Because I can say to you Leeds, and you don't go, no idea what you're on about. Or I can say Newcastle, and you go, someone's put Hyde United there. Okay. What are they referred to as? Hyde. Because guess what? There's no other team at that level. I mean, there's probably 500 junior teams, but there's no other team playing at that level called feckin' Hyde, is there? So you get confused. And that's why it's United and City.
Listen, all I'm saying is we better win the Carabao Cup final. For our sake, because you want to see us win a trophy, and for your sake as well, for the way you've been dragging Newcastle fans on Twitter, because they're going to come for your ass if we lose.
Bothered. Be a small tidal wave, wouldn't it? Steve there says guns of any description should be banned in every country. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that the military grade sort of automatic weapons are an absolute mess.
With guns though, like with the whole guns is a safety thing in America, isn't it?
It's a problem in America because the Second Amendment types are so like I think they're crazy. I believe you should have the right to own guns.
Has there ever been an instance? Has there ever been an instance where a gun has saved a life without taking another?
Probably. I don't know the examples where someone's just gone, "How about shut the fuck up?" Okay. Probably, but they're extremely destructive. And here's the thing, right? In the UK. Let's say I'm driving from my house to the range and I've got a firearm. Yeah. I can't strap it across my chest and just drive about. Yeah. And I can't nip into the post office with one hanging off my back the way you can in America. Yep. Like I can't be cutting around Asda, tooled up. That's got to be locked in my boot with the ammunition somewhere else. And if you get pulled over, you go, I got a gun in the back. Yeah? It's not one of those where you go, yeah, I got a gun. Where is it? Fucking right there. Like I don't. Because of the way America evolved with the carnage that happened in the West, guns became a way of life and a way of protection because there was no police. It was such a vast place that you needed them for the protection that you had. I don't know if that's the same sort of thing necessary now. But the problem you've got is the gun problem in America is toothpaste and a toothpaste tube. And it's all over the bathroom, and you ain't getting it back in the tube. So even if you made them illegal today, I don't know what you're going to do. You're not going to do fuck all, probably.
Well, guns are nothing to do with me anyway. I will never own one. But I'm laughing at one of the questions there about asking me about the salute emoji, because earlier on, I hovered over on the Mac on the salute emoji, and obviously the titling was salute emoji, but before that, I've always thought it was a penis on a head. Have you seen the salute emoji on Apple? It looks like, when you first looked at it...
Yeah, because a penis would make more sense than a salute, wouldn't it?
It looked like a penis, and I only found out today that it was a salute emoji. So I thought that emoji meant dickhead. Until today, generally. But learn something new daily.
John Hemingway says the USA guns are a political thing. It's about people being able to challenge the government, even though the government have police and military. The militarization of American police is terrifying. They look absolutely gutted up to fuck. They are way more armoured and prepared than any patrols that I know of that went out in Afghanistan. It's insane. The equipment that they've got and the armour that they carry is bananas. And you kind of almost need it because there's so many fucking guns out there, so you can't really even take them away like that. But here's the thing, right? I saw a comedian with a great joke. Let's say once a year, let's have 100 of the military and 100 Second Amendment people, and they just have a little dust up to show you how fucking dead you all are if you ever think that you're trying to take over the American military. Have you heard of Apache helicopters? You're just going to die tired, right? Have you heard of fast jets? That shit's going to just blow up your entire world, right? There's you and your little semi-automatic fucking AR-15 are just going to die. And especially because most of you are not even fucking trained. That's the other part of the Second Amendment, is that they're allowed to keep guns because they're part of a well-trained militia. Why don't they include, if you want a gun, you need to join the Army Reserve and actually get some training in it, rather than walk into Walmart, get a fucking rifle, and off you fucking pop. Know what I mean?
Hey, listen. I don't care about guns. I want to know what Fred's surname is.
What is Fred's surname?
I don't know.
I think it's Rodriguez.
Because quite often Brazilians, when they have a name like that, it's never actually their name. It's usually something different. It's either shortened.
I'm pretty sure it's
name.
Rodriguez. Someone just typed wrong. I have no fucking clue what that relates to. Anyway, let's wrap it up there. There's a super chat there that I just missed, and it was asking about, have I watched any of the Wrexham thing? Thoughts on the Wrexham underdog story. A lot of American League fans are jealous the level of coverage they get here, and it's funny. Really? Listen, Ryan Reynolds is a fucking interesting guy, isn't he? Charismatic guy. You're watching it, aren't you, if it's in? I've not watched it, though, so I can't actually say that. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up. Cheers to Ronnie. Cheers to you lot. Cheers to Manscaped. Sort your balls out. It's nearly the season to be getting your nuts out. So go check them out. They help support the show. You can do us a favour by supporting them, and we'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.